Hi, everyone. I didn't advertise this live. I didn't advertise it. So I probably won't get any comment. But I'm very proud of my last video, my live video, because I was doing a tour of downtown Washington, D.C., Chinatown. And I'm real happy about that. I got no comments, but I did get 3 viewers. So that makes it really good. Yeah, that's an improvement. Okay. I am tired as crap today, but I'm like, gotta keep it going, because once I go to sleep, I'm gonna wake up at 12 o'clock tonight, and I won't be able to do anything then because my camera doesn't capture me at night. It doesn't capture me well at all, so I have to film during the daytime, etc., etc., etc. A lot of technical difficulties. Just seeing if anybody sees if I'm live before I get into my discussion. Trying to figure out how to use Restream. I messed up my phone. I did a video on that. I messed up my phone trying to do Restream. It ended up costing me $50 precious. Get my phone fixed. That thing froze my phone. I'm gonna have to try it some other kind of way here. Maybe I'll try it again, but not on this phone. That's a long story. Okay, I'm starting to wake up. They don't have Coca-Cola anymore. You know, Coca-Cola would wake me up. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, just giving people a chance to tune in. I'm wondering if I put a description before I go live, that when I go live and it'll say D Brown is live. I'm trying to figure out would that show what I'm actually talking about? Because if it shows what I'm talking about, if I put a description up there or a title before I go live, will it, when it rolls, when my live that I'm live rolls on the reels, it'll show give a description of what my live is about today. That's what I'm trying to figure out too. Never ending process. Okay, it's been 3 minutes. Whoa. So they say have longer lives. So I usually give it a shot for 22 minutes. I can find a lot of topics to talk about for 22 minutes. Okay, getting started. I said I was going to do some book reviews. I'm going down the list. I'm going to tell you whose books I'm looking to review. I'm looking to review Mary Wilson's book, which has been out a long time, I'm talking about decades, and was a #1 bestseller. I'm looking to review Jermaine Jackson's book. I'm looking to review Whitney Houston's mother's book, Sissy Houston. Faith Evans' book, Fantasia, Martha from Martha and the Vandellas, Ruth Pointer. And it's such a great outlet. This is such a great outlet for me to do that. And I'm going to review Latoya Jackson's book, Starting Over, Janet Jackson's book, Be You. I want to start today, part 1. I guess I'll start with because the reason I'm going to start with this particular book today, part 1, is because I just came across where I could read some parts of Latoya Jackson's first book, which was called Growing Up in the Jackson Family. some of the stuff that she said on TV, I have not yet run across in this book. Some pretty tough stuff. But so I'll just start off with something that I read in that book, because I had kind of wanted to do a comparison with that book and the book Starting Over, which was, by the way, excellent. But the first book, Growing Up in the Jackson Family. I'm looking kind of shocked here. That's because I am. In that book, she talked about the abuse of their father towards her brothers and siblings and her, but she just said it was abusive. She didn't really detail exactly what took place. You knew that it was brutal abusiveness. In terms of, you knew that the beatings were brutal, but she really did stress she did say that they had a psychological hold on them. Their psychological hold on them looks like it was greater than the physical hold on them. But she doesn't give an example of one of the beatings that actually occurred, except once that I'm reading so far. She did say they were brutal, but she said in terms of psychologically that her father got satisfaction out of scaring and torturing his kids and seeing his kids suffer, because he would do crazy stuff and would laugh about it, like come up at the window at night and show up with a crazy, scary mask on. I guess that's where Michael Jackson got the idea of Thriller, because his father would come up with a werewolf mask and go, and then the kids would be scared, and then he would do this like at 2:00 in the morning, and they would be laughing, and then he would laugh, Just little torturous stuff. Of course, as you know, they couldn't call him dad. And she said, to many respects, he pretended that they weren't there half the time, except to discipline them and grade you, so that by the time you were 5 years old, your self-esteem was ripped. She said Jackie caught it like torture. She said she asked her mother, Catherine Jackson, why did he treat Jackie so bad? And the mother's response was, well, I don't think he liked him. And I'm going to shed some light on Mrs. Jackson's reaction, because Latoya said she just kind of was such a sweet person, and she just didn't see, she always comforted the children, but she would never take a firm stance against this grueling abuse. There's a limit to anything. I support Joe Jackson. What he's done was astounding, but somebody should have said something at some point for him to draw the line. Those were some strong people. She said the only one that really fought back was Michael Jackson. He would hit him back and fight. The only one who dared fight him back. Even Tito said Joe used to try to come after Michael, and Michael was just too quick for him. And I guess that's where Michael learned how to go, hee, hee, hee. That's not funny, but so but here's a something I want to read that really struck me, that is one of the examples, one of the few examples of the abuse that they endured. And I feel I really want to speak of this because she's still alive to remember this And everybody's been wondering, hey, is this true? Exactly what went on there? But this is one of the few examples I've seen from her in terms of actually what type of beatings did they get. Joe would say, no, I didn't beat them, I whipped them. Here's an example. I'm going to read an excerpt from the book. This is where she gets a report card. She was always a straight A student. Latoya Jackson, that is. She was a straight A student, and when she got a report card, she brought it home. And since her mother wasn't there, she let her father read the report card. It was straight A. The only thing was that her teacher wrote that she's so quiet in school that they might have to keep her back 1 year. Joe must have just heard we're going to keep her back 1 year. He didn't read that she's a straight A student part because he went ballistic. I feel sorry. Oh, poor Latoya. And especially her, in her other book, she details that when she got beaten by Jack Gordon. Okay. This is his reaction to the report card that her teacher said that she was too shy and that she wasn't interacting with the other students. So they were going to keep her back for her not interacting. Is that the way to get somebody to interact? No, you try to be nice to them, not keep them back. Be nice to them and encourage their interaction. You got to try to include them in games and stuff like that. Okay, here it is. After she gave him the report card, it says, this is from her book, verbatim. Joseph, as they called their father, put down the report card. Maybe I'll do this another day and delete this. I'm just so tired. I'm like, is today the day that I want to do this? I'm going to go on forward with it. Okay. Joseph put down the report card and suddenly smacked my face. She was 6 years old. She was 6 years old. She said this is the worst beating she ever got in her life. Smacked my face with his open palm, the palm of his hand. Don't you shame me again, he shouted. Remember, this is from her first book, Growing Up in the Jackson Family. Then he took off his belt and reached for the switch. Ooh. He employed so often around the house. As the metal buckle and whip-like branch seared my skin, I cried, no, stop, please. But my father was beyond hearing me. You will never shame me like this again. Never, he yelled, punctuating his words with hard slaps. This will teach you to study. His boxer's fists pummeled my face and body, and I cried until my eyes were nearly swollen shut. I'm going to have to make this part 3. And her mother, that's the end of the excerpt, just cleaned off her scratches and bruises lovingly and put her in the bed. It appears that her mother was really easygoing. She said she could never understand how her mother tolerated that because she grew up in such a loving family. It appears that her mother would say, "Don't do that. Joe, you're going to kill him. Joe, don't do that." And be nice to them, but never affirm, "Don't dare beat my 6-year-old child like this. Are you crazy?" I'll talk about her in just a moment. That is one of the only example that I see so far from reading that book. I'm kind of reading it right now, that I can see her really giving you a clear idea of the brutality. Can you imagine? He was a boxer, Golden Gloves boxer, pummeling a 6-year-old like that. He took his frustrations out on her. She said she did her very best after that to stay on his good side, not say much, stay out of his way, continue to be a good student, and just appease him, which worked because she said she never really got any more beatings from him. And then all the other people were wondering, well, why didn't you get any more beatings? They used to call her goody two-shoes or something like that. But let's take a closer look at that. She's 6 years old. Tearing her up with them whips, with that switch and that belt buckle. She has bruises and marks and scratches on her legs, and hitting her, smacked her, a precious 5-year-old like that, and pummeled her in her face and body like a boxer. I don't even want to see what they did to Tito when he broke the guitar string, or Jackie and Jermaine. I don't even want to imagine that. I can't. Now, her mother, this is what I think of her mother. I think that her religion, the man was the head of the household. Police and stuff just weren't doing anything back in those days. You could call the police and they'd be like, they won't do anything. And I just look at, and that's a whole nother video, the Barges mothers, about these mothers. Adeline, the Barges mother, she wanted to get out of there, but really had nowhere to go. She just had to one day say, "Hey, this is enough." The cops did not stop these people. And as far as Catherine Jackson is concerned, she probably wanted to be a good wife, a good mother. She tried to speak to him about it, and he apparently didn't listen. She didn't want to get a divorce. So she was a quiet, I guess she comforted them, the quiet, sweet mother, stern father type of family. I believed in the sternness, but at some point you do have to draw the line, even if they are loved all over the world. Those scars are still there. There's a such thing as going too far. I was always kind of on Joe Jackson's. I was always kind of like, we need more Joe Jacksons out here because it was very brutal. Like I was saying before, jobs were leaving Gary, Indiana. Jobs were leaving. Drugs was coming in relentlessly. They were hoisting those drugs on people like crazy. And she says he went overboard in protecting them. They really couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't go out to play. And to some extent, their mother would let them out. But he was like, no, you come back in. And that's final. So they didn't want them spending the night over other people's houses. There's nothing wrong with that. Given the different things that were happening out in the streets. And he was like, oh, no, not my children. So Tito said he did what was necessary to get them out of Gary, Indiana. I'm supportive of that. But some stuff is a no-no. Some stuff is a no-no. Some stuff you go too far. I haven't really gotten to, I want to see where I can find the part that says she used to sneak out and get in the bed with them. I really want to look into that. I don't know what happened there. I haven't read it anywhere. I think I read it somewhere, but it might have been a hearsay. I don't know how true that is. So that's where I am in the first book, because I want to read both books. Now, in terms of the second book, I've spoken about that one too, what she endured with Jack Gordon. I like the second book a little bit better. I think it captures her personality. That second book is called Starting Over, and I think it captures her personality and her intelligence a little better than Growing Up in the Jackson Family. I've read all of that one. And her description, again, I don't have that excerpt on me right now, of how Jack Gordon beat her. She comes across as a sweet person, and people beat and take advantage of sweet people, even if it's your parents. They see you're sweet and that they can do it, and they will. They showed a picture of her with a black eye. And he beat her so bad with a chair. No wonder Latoya was running around looking the way she looked. Half insane. To leave one crazy situation for another? Even crazier situation? Her lip was swollen, her eye was hit her with a chair. She thought she was going to have to go to the doctor, but nobody called the ambulance. Something like that was almost beating somebody to death. And in most of the books that I've read, I got this call coming in. Let me decline this. A lot of books that I read, a lot of them have endured abuse by men. I'm glad these stories are told. Ruth Pointer. Certainly Mary Wilson. She was beat up by that old husband of hers. Faith Evans. She was the victim of police brutality in her book, Keep the Faith. That was good too. They threw her through a window, and she had all this glass in her back, and she had to pick it out piece by piece. These people have been through some physical trauma. I haven't read one book yet from any celebrity that hasn't faced getting beat up. Fantasia? Oh, goodness. She got beat up too? God bless her. Fantasia, Ruth Pointer. Faith Evans. Even Martha from Martha and the Vandellas. When I read Michelle Obama's book, I call her the princess. I'm going to review her book too. She's the only one that has not gotten beat up by a man. I like her. I like her story as well. It was a very smooth story. She didn't face brutality. Her father's head was on very straight. God bless him. Her book was not really a bombshell book. She didn't have any bombshells, which is, I'm very glad. So when I can finish reading Growing Up in the Jackson Family, I can continue to do a review on that. I'm getting hot. It's 27 minutes. I'm going to have to cut this off here. I said 22 minutes and I went to 27 minutes and I am hot. I'm burning up in here. But starting over is just what she did. Latoya Jackson finally broke free from Jack Gordon and left. She did like Tina Turner, left with nothing. She said, I'm just glad to be out of here. Wouldn't fight for her money because she was just glad to be out of there. That definitely tells the story of how she wanted to leave home and be on her own and going from the frying pan into the fire. Okay, I wanted to share that excerpt with you all. Thank you for listening. And I will see you soon. Stay tuned for part 2. As I read the rest of that book, Growing Up in the Jackson Family, and do a comparison and read and tell you a little more of my opinion about the book starting over as well. So I've got about 2 more parts to this book. Then I'm going to go on to another book. But I'm probably going to do another video on a review of both of those books. I'm going to do just a regular video, not a live. Hope somebody's watching. I don't have any comments, but last time at least somebody was watching. And I certainly hope somebody's watching. I want to see what they think about this as well. Okay. Thank you. Ending the live. Thank you.